Hi dear parents, welcome back to another math hour. I was asked about this kind of question. What happens if you have a y which has family with it? In other words, which has another number in front of it. How do we solve this kind of equation? Well, the answer is the same exact technique. We're going to do the same exact thing. The only additional step we're going to do is we're going to change up this equation right over here into its standard form. It's supposed to be just y. Y has to be independent and on its own. And right now, y has family with it, the minus 2. We got to get rid of that minus 2. So how do we do that? You just divide both sides by minus 2. X also gets divided by minus 2. 1 will also get divided by minus 2, as you can see over here. Now, minus 2 divided by minus 2 is y. X over minus 2 is just minus 1x over 2. You can write it this way. Or, just to make it easier, you can also write it minus 1 over 2x. It's the same exact thing. There's an invisible 1 right in front over here. Okay? And finally, plus and minus. As you can see, the plus and minus here turns into minus. And that'll just be 1 over 2. Okay? And now notice there's something missing over here. Well, if you remember from my previous videos on inequality, what happens is that when there's a minus sign in front of the missing value, in front of this number, for example, the y here, if there's a negative, then what you do with this sign is that you flip it over. So suddenly the greater than sign becomes less than sign. That's the rule. Anytime there's a negative number in front of the y coordinate over here, you get rid of the family, obviously, and then you just flip that sign the other way around. And there we go. Here's our equation. We finally got a standard inequality where we can now graph this on our graph. How do we do that? We need some x and y values. Let's plot it in. Okay, now when x is 0, we plug in the 0 here. Minus half times 0 is just 0. And 0 minus half is minus half, or minus 0.5. Okay, now when x is 1, let's see, that'll be minus 1 minus half again. How do we solve this? Well, if you guys remember, old technique, minus and minus becomes plus, and half plus half is just 1. And since both of them have minus on it, it'll be minus 1. Okay? And finally, an x is 2. So minus half multiplied by 2 minus a half. Again, from my previous video, if you remember the shortcut technique, when the denominator and the number you're multiplying is same, just cancel it. And that leaves just minus 1. So now you have minus 1 minus a half. And I can do it like this. Sure, 1 times 2 is 2. Cross multiply. Minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. And that'll be minus 3 over 2. And since I don't want fractions, I want a decimal. Minus 3 over 2, you just have to divide it. That'll be minus 1.5. And there we go. I got my 3 coordinates right here. And now I just need to plot them in. 0 minus 0.5. 1 minus 1, and of course 2 minus 1.5. Just double check your math when you do this, okay? Because you just want to make sure your arithmetic is correct. So 0 minus half is somewhere right here. 1 minus 1 is right over here. And of course 2, 1 minus 5. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Here, minus 1 right there, and 2's right over here. As you can see, it's going to be a little tricky there drawing it, but that's as accurate as I can get. And of course, let's connect the lines. How do we connect it? Again, same old rules. Less than, equal to, less than, greater than, dotted line. Less than, greater than, equal to, straight line. That looks like a, let's look at this. That looks like a less than sign, which means a dotted line. I don't have a ruler, so please use a ruler when you do this for real. Connect these dots. There we go. And now, let us find out what regions to shade. How do you do that? You go back to where the x is equal to 0. This is your x-intercept. You take this value and you put it over here. So minus 0.5, and we're looking for numbers smaller, because this means smaller than minus 0.5. What numbers are smaller than minus 0.5? Well, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4. They're all smaller than 0.5. So let's go back to our y over here. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. All these numbers are smaller than minus 1.5. Sorry, minus 0.5, which means this is the area you shade. This is the region you shade. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is how you do it. Straightforward, simple manipulation, a simple little changing here and there, but the technique still remains the same. And there we go. That is how you plot an inequality. All right, thank you.